high right
Well, that's always fun.
now, isn't it?
Hmm. I've forgone anything fun, so
Aja Abarera Legos Rambori Banish Satan Demonio Dinaja 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 Abarera Legos Rambori Banish Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja 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 Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Apocrypha, the Occult podcast. I am Adius Dade. I don't know if you guys missed my voice yet, but here I am. Got Mystic, as always, with a lot of light today. He's not sitting in darkness like he normally is.
Well, it's still light outside.
Oh, okay, well. Shit.
That's why.
And then, of course, because the spirit said "fuck you" the last time we were live, we got Melvin back on with us.
Hello.
It did like 5 times.
So
Yeah.
we got
Worked
Melvin back.
perfectly after everything was done and over with, though.
So yeah, so we got him back so we can finally actually dig in and talk about his deck. So there's that. At the end of the show, I've got couple announcements for you guys, so stick around for that. But to start out, as we always do, Mystic, what big
What?
decks do you have for us?
I've had a really hard time picking. So I wanted to, and I talked about it, I think last week, or maybe I didn't, or maybe I talked to somebody. But I know. Do you have the Angelarium? Is that you, Melvin?
Yep, I have that one.
Okay, that and thought so. Did you know they have another one?
You mentioned that. Um,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I
you
don't know if I
mentioned.
should. I don't know if I should use this one.
Go for it.
Because I was like, this is. I love the Angelarium. But this one is like I've never read with it, and it's quite intense. Like it's intense. So, but I've got like 6 decks in front of me. I like to choose. I like to have options.
Hey, you know, I mean, you got to do
I think what we're gonna do
take them
is
all
I
at the
think I'm
same
gonna
time.
pull. I'm gonna pull a card, one card from the updated Angelarium, which is the Oracle of the Fallen.
Good name, fun name.
And that's going to give us an idea of what we need to focus on ourselves this week, what kind of energy we need to put out. And then we'll pull actually from my personal deck, which I have not used on stream in a very long time for the tarot read. How about that?
Okay.
And then my personal deck is a little beat up, but it is the Steampunk Tarot by Barbara Moore. So we did just to kind of talk through why I got to shuffle a little bit. We did a pretty cool little small ritual last night at the railroad, where we made a floral incense blend with lots of you can leave that open, thanks. With lots of floral scents, resins, herbs, and oils. And we took that out in one of our little Catholic looking sensors and did that in an incantation and had a pretty neat little moon ritual last night. So we're feeling the energy.
There you go.
And now
Yeah,
we
that
have chi. We can balance our
that
chi
moon last
energy.
night was something.
Yeah, the
Did
flower
any of you
moon.
guys like get itchy or anything at all? Like just kind of jumpy?
Yeah. Like we
I was
were
high on painkillers last night,
Well,
so I don't know.
well, no, you were having a good gosh darn time, but for everyone else,
yeah, we were talking about that last night. Like it was weird because when we first went in the area before we did our little ritual, before we could see the moon, because we couldn't see it at all. We just felt drained and tired. And then once it came up, we kind of just got locked in and just were staring at it and kind of like, okay, we gotta do something, gotta do something, gotta do something, gotta do something. It was very weird. But it could also have been we were at the crossroads at the train tracks too.
you should have said hi to Papa Legba
We did not. I
next
kept
time.
Ellen of the Ways in the back of my mind a little bit because she is also a keeper of the crossroads and the lamp to the other side. But I don't think I'll be talking to Papa Legba anytime soon. I need to a little more work on that before we go down that route.
I mean, if you do, remember, bring some rum and some cigars. Oh, no, no, no. He likes a pipe, not cigars.
Why
Well, we
oh,
have
there it
pipes.
goes. I unmuted my mic and it stayed muted. That was weird. Hey, chat, quick thing. If you guys notice, like, if you seem a little off or loopy, it's because I'm high on painkillers again. Just want to throw that out there. I hate painkillers, but there you go.
Oh, Finn. All right. So we're going to, like I said, pull our card from. Where did I put the lid for this thing? I've got like literally 6 decks. Oracle of the Fallen. We'll get this moving.
I
So
like the
this
cover
goes
of the
along
box.
with it goes along with the Oracle of the Emanations. Very thick cardstock. They're always really good. Love the back. It's nice and easy to reverse. So that's something that I really like. I don't know why. I just want to do that. But we got, I'm not even going to say it, which I thought was, Barakil, which is the Angel of Lightning.
I was gonna say Baraka, the green dude from Street Fighter, but you know.
Baraka Obama, Aquila. So, I mean, if I have to guess about this, this is a rising energy, which actually fits with the full moon, right? If we're talking about lightning and we're talking about the angel of lightning, my first thought goes to excess energy, pulling the energy up, right? Making it larger, making it bigger, making it more massive to whatever we're doing, which is what you want to do during a full moon anyway. So I'm going to do a read with tarot, and we have to keep in mind with each of the cards that I'm going to pull for tarot that we're pulling the tarot, or we're moving the energy of the next week or two, or however long the energy lasts, through the angel of lightning, meaning through things that need to become larger and bigger, and that we need to make external in our life, like need to push it outward. So lots of push out energy here. That's what we're talking. So what is the actual energy we're going to do on top of that? Well, great, just wonderful. That's happy.
The hell is that?
The tower.
Oh,
All right.
good times.
So we've pulled the tower a lot lately. My favorite version of the tower is disruption. We do talk a lot about, like, there's this whole change, right? There's a whole change in the system, or the underlying belief system has to be changed or redone or restructured. But I liked disruption because recently, and this is kind of going off center, but recently I found another YouTube channel, and we talked about it. I think some people knew who it was. Is it the Yes Men or the Yes Guys or the Yes Theory maybe? And they have another channel called Disruption or something. I'll have to find it and I'll post it in there. But it's all about growth through disruption, right? When you're somewhat uncomfortable, when you have a little bit of anxiety, when you have a little bit of fear, when your life is a little bit disrupted, that energy is where you grow. That is where you're able to fit the next thing in and move it in. So we have our angel of lightning telling us to make this energy bigger, and this energy is going to be in the form of disruption. Seek discomfort. Thank you, Sad World. That's what it is. It's seek discomfort. Great channel. Y'all need to check that out. It's freaking amazing. Our next card that we have is the Ten of Wands, as Rook would say. Wands, as a normal person would say.
Gotcha.
Probably shouldn't be that mean. This is a reminder not to be self-absorbing in some cases. The Ten of Wands really does come up for me when somebody's like overextending themselves, or they're overthinking something, or they're putting too much into something, or maybe even being a little bit selfish and personal about it. It does represent also like the culmination of something that's at the end of it. But when you couple it with our tower, we have to be careful that over the next couple weeks that we make sure that we balance ourselves and not go too far off the center, right? We need to make sure that we're balancing ourselves and that we're following through with what we say we're going to do. We're letting the energy go through us and not just the couch isn't comfortable to sleep on. Thanks. But yeah, so be careful of this. We have to make sure that we're not going way out on the other end of stuff and making things worse than it actually is. And then our third card, which is probably one of my other favorites. I like all the major cards, but the Star is really this whole idea that we have this hope or this direction, or we have this North Star. There's a direction for us to go. Being that we have two major arcanas and one minor arcana, I'm going to say the biggest thing is the disruption is got to be us, and we have to disrupt our normal way of thinking. So stop going out and trying to do things. That was weird. Everything just flipped.
Yeah, I saw the flicker.
Going out and doing things that we maybe wouldn't otherwise do, but do it appropriately and smartly, and don't overthink it and don't do too much of it, but disrupt yourself a little bit so that you can have some growth. We're in a growth year anyway. We've talked about this, but
we kind of talked about that before. Like growth kind of happens where kind of like the end of your comfort zone, right?
It does, and not so far past it. Like, I'm never going to go skydiving, just for the record.
Yeah, me either.
Not going to happen. Not really afraid of flights, but I am afraid of skydiving. Not going to do it. But I ate at a restaurant on the 15th floor, overhanging the city in Toledo night before last.
Fun.
So yeah, you do stuff, but I will never go skydiving. Is out for me.
Well, what if you make a compromise and you do indoor skydiving?
I would absolutely do that.
See? So
I
don't
would
say you'll
absolutely do it.
never go skydiving.
I'll never go base jumping.
There we go. Yeah.
But
That just
I
seems
really
like you're asking for something to
when
kill you.
I agree, but some people, the thrill seeking is there, and it's you do what you do. It's the same thing with the motorcycles. Like some people, like you're stupid if you ride without gear. You're stupid. Just everybody does their own thing and their own reason for it, and does how they do. But I felt with the full moon last night this same kind of energy about disruption, but not negative disruption, and not disruption that causes loss. Disruption that causes new thinking patterns, which is, to me, that's where the star really comes in. The disruption is to give a new pathway or a new light or a new direction. And also, I'm going to read what the angel of lightning is at some point, but not right now.
Okay.
So,
And so just quickly to answer the questions that I've seen people asking, like what I've had done and if I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm doing a lot better, especially on these damn painkillers. Like, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't like the feeling that it gives me because it makes me feel sick to my stomach. I feel high as fuck, but I feel sick to my stomach and I don't like it. But I should only have to deal with it for about like another week maybe. So for those asking what I had done is I had my wisdom tooth side of my mouth completely horizontal, and the dumbass was trying to grow out of my mouth through my other teeth.
well, you know whose DNA programmed it to do that, dumbass?
Mine. So, like,
Bad tooth.
right? Instead of growing up the way it was supposed to, it said, "Hey, let's go this way," and so it was pushing. Not only was it causing like a lot of nerve issues, and which I actually did, when they pulled the tooth out, it did damage my nerves because this part right here is completely numb top of my lip. Doctor says it should be back like within a month or so, but it was pushing all my teeth this way, so out of my mouth. And so what's happening right now that the tooth has been removed, is that they're all starting to slowly go back to where they're supposed to be, which in and of itself is causing a lot of pain, which is why I'm still on painkillers. But because I'm supposed to take one every 8 hours because of how I hate how they make me feel, I only take one at night. That's it. I suffer with ibuprofen during the day. So that should answer the question. Hopefully that everyone was asking. But yeah, I'm good now. I can eat normal food, and I don't have to eat Gerber anymore, or like my version of Gerber.
No blending stuff up.
Yeah, no,
Just
it was
sucking
horrible.
up to a straw.
Dude, it was fucking horrible, man. Like I was eating like smashed refried beans and like chicken with water through a blender. With
Oh, forget that. I would have just started fasting, and it's
So, like,
not worth it.
the amount of protein and iron that I consumed over the last week is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like,
So here's a little odd thing for you. So in the alien community, they say that when your wisdom teeth don't come in properly and it's they're impacted or whatever, it's supposed to be signs that you have alien DNA in you, particularly from the the Orion Greys, because it's something about, I don't know, the DNA not doing right with wisdom teeth. So sometimes people who have 3 or 2, or they just don't come out correctly, they're allegedly supposed to have alien DNA in them. So take that as you will.
I mean, I guess, sure, fuck it, I'll run with it. I'll fucking run with it. I'll tell people I got alien DNA. I don't give a shit.
I believe that to be a true statement if anybody says it.
There you go. There you go. I have alien DNA. Bada bing. So, all right, Melvin. Hopefully, the spirit world doesn't tell you to fuck off this time around. So we're gonna start off the top. So if you guys were here the last if you were here the last show that we had, I think it was 2 shows ago. I think we skipped 2 weeks. Was it?
You skipped last week.
Last week, so it was 1 week we skipped. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was 2 weeks I skipped on the Satan and Coffee Black Mass. So which will be back this Sunday, guys. Just to let you know. But so if you guys were here the last show we had, we were talking about Melvin's tarot deck that he had released. Unfortunately, every fucking time he tried to actually get into it and talk about it, his shit would freeze and crash. So, after extensive work with his hardware and him assuring me that it's fine, is he frozen right now?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be kidding me, man.
That is correct and true.
Oh, chat, that's it. It's not going to happen.
I don't believe it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
happening again. I really, dude, that is insane. No freaking way.
No, and the thing is, dude, we've had you on the show multiple times before without any issues.
Yeah.
That is
multiple
funny.
times.
Wow. What is it about this freaking deck? Wow.
All right, we're going to do the best that we can, and we're going to roll through this. So, from the top, Melvin, what inspired you to make the deck to begin?
Okay, so part of it was me just having an interest in tarot and kind of wanting to do a deck. And then the other part was to have a bit of a distraction and a coping mechanism after my cat passed away. And, you know, anyone who comes to my streams know like Sweet Pea was a big part of the stream and I love my cat. And it just shut me down and I couldn't really do anything and I needed a distraction. I needed to get busy and I started to think about the tarot cards and like maybe I can make my own. I wonder if I could do that. And I started to challenge myself and eventually I got into it and I found a rhythm and a flow, stayed up 24 hours sometimes just working on these nonstop because if unexplained the content virtually stopped for a good while, except for a podcast here or there and Too Crazy to Believe, because I was just working on these nonstop. So, I guess you could say Sweet Pea, my cat, is what got me going into this. And, you know, I like the end results. It was something that needed to be done for me, and it helped. You know, I would love to say I was hit by spirit and we'll say, I don't know, Belial came to me and he was like, Melvin, you need to do this. And, you know, I would love to say that, but, you know, that's just not the case. So,
Well, I think Sweet Pea is spiritual inspiration enough, right?
I would
yeah.
agree.
So
Yeah, so.
I mean, you should put on the box dedicated to Sweet Pea.
Well, now here's the thing. No box. I kind of wanted to be different. And I have a pouch. Well, for the premium edition, and for the one that's the regular version, it is a little bag. I think Mystic has that one. Yeah.
yeah, Rook
So.
could have gotten me the other version, but he didn't, so we'll let it slide.
Well, it's okay because like versions, one a little bit the cards are linen and the other one it's regular, but I wanted it to be affordable because you know tarot cards can get expensive and it's insane some of them, but to be affordable for people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen the artwork. I like the artwork. And I do agree with what Mystic said. I think, you know, doing it as a distraction for yourself to kind of help yourself through kind of the loss of Sweet Pea. I mean, it's a spiritual enough reason as it stands. You know, there is a deep emotional connection to the creation of those cards, you know, which I think I'm going to be honest. I think that that's really lacking in a lot of tarot decks today. I think that it has gotten to the point with a lot of tarot decks that it's just made to be made because people think it's going to make money. Right? That the emotional connection to it isn't there. And so to say, you know, that you made that during such kind of like a difficult time for yourself, it's reminiscent of kind of, I believe his name is James O'Barr, guy that drew the Crow comics, like before the
Yeah.
whole Brandon Lee thing. Like, so his fiance died in a car accident, and he literally just closed himself inside of his apartment and just drew the comics. And what came out of that pain was like the best gothic romance ever created. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's interesting because it's weird how pain can lead to something beautiful, or how sometimes a lot of comedians are like this. A lot of comedians are very depressed and hurt, and
Mhm.
yet here they are making other people laugh, putting on a show, making fun of themselves, which is all hard to do. And, you know, and maybe part of them, they hope that their comedy helps someone else who's on the edge, and maybe someone could relate to their hardships even though they're telling their story in a funny way. Like who's a good example? Christopher Titus is a good example of that. If you guys ever seen his stand-up routines, it's all about his dysfunctional family and how he coped and the hurt that he dealt with. He dealt with some, and here he is laughing at himself, talking about his nutty family, really carrying a lot of pain in him, but getting it out and having people enjoy it. It's weird how that works sometimes, but yeah, pain, sadness, sorrow, whatever you want to call it, can lead to beautiful things if we allow it.
definitely. But I think where that comes from, I think with the pain, where kind of like the creativity from through pain comes from, is because we need to get it out, right? Like there's something subconscious with us that we know that needs to be external from us. Um, because me personally, as a creative person, none of my best work has ever come out of me when I was happy. Like, never.
Yeah, isn't that some mess? Like, you're not the first person I heard say that either. It's like when I'm happy, I can't work. Things are too good, but when I'm just in a foul mood or down and depressed, and then all of a sudden everything starts flowing.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking weird how that works. It's
Well, when
truly
things are
strange.
when things are going well, you're waiting for the next shoe to drop, so you're wrapped up in your anxiety of not being able to get anything done, especially creatively.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I always attributed it that, like, when good things happen, one, you inevitably know that good things don't last forever. So, two, you're inevitably waiting for the other shoe to drop, and three, you just want to hold on to that shit for as long as you possibly can because you know it's not going to be there forever.
But
Yeah.
what's funny on it is I think other people would probably feel exact opposite in some ways, right? When they're happy is when they do their best work.
Yeah.
So it's really just the human condition.
See, I'm
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that fully agree that, for example, musicians are always better when they're on drugs. Like, I mean, I know it's a horrible thing to say. I know it's a horrible thing to
Yeah.
say, but
Yeah.
I honestly believe, like, if you go with most musicians and you follow their line of work from when they were completely fucked up on whatever the fuck it was they were taking, when they're completely sober, like, yeah, no, you were better when you're high, dude. Like, so.
Uh,
And I guess that awkward silence was just. Oh no, wait, Melvin's frozen again. So.
yeah, I was frozen for a bit.
So.
Yeah, so I don't know, and I give up. I thought I fixed the issue. I did not.
But we
Whatever is
got we
here is
got a
like,
good portion, a good chunk of you talking about the tarot deck uninterrupted. That was
yeah,
great. That was amazing.
It was
yeah.
stellar.
But going back to the deck real quick as well. So I want to say that Mystic and Rook, well, technically Rook used it Sunday And oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. What's your name? The Two Pondering Pagans channel,
It's just a Sunday circle.
Sunday Circle. Thank you. And you both gave me like the greatest compliment, and it was like, hey, I'm actually going to use this. So
Yeah.
that was just a huge, huge compliment to me. And part of the thinking behind this deck is usability, because I'm not too much of a abstract guy. You know, I like some abstract imagery. I think it looks cool, but I prefer practical.
And there it is.
Practicality. That could be the tourist thing. You think?
Exactly, Mel. I feel exactly the same way.
Agree.
Agree completely.
I like abstract things too. Like I like abstract things that have abstraction in them, but I have to be able to logically understand them. That's the Virgo thing.
I'm just all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Just everywhere.
My mother is also a Gemini. So
There we
Well,
are.
welcome back, Melvin.
Yeah, that time it was actually the internet that went out.
Okay, well, we were still telepathically connected to you. Finished your sentence and continued talking to you.
and we blamed it
Okay,
on being
I
a
appreciate
Taurus.
that. Yeah. But practicality is huge to me, and part of the thinking behind the deck was to try and have it be a little bit sorry for the glare. Try to have it be a little bit practical, or more practical than other indie decks, you could say, I guess you could say. And like we'll take this one for instance. So this is pretty much the Hangman.
That's the card I have
And
on the top of my deck, by the way.
oh
I
wow.
picked my favorite cards, images, and I have them all here standing. So, all right, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, you could poke him up and I'll tell you about him if you want. But yeah, so that's wow. And the thing with that one, because I also added a modern twist to it, is if you follow the Rider White system, you know that the Hangman, it could be caught in between. Maybe you need to take a time out, slow down, whatever. But at the same time, it's also saying like all hope isn't lost. There is help coming, because we have a freaking police helicopter there circling around. So it's like you're not going to be here forever. You're just temporarily stuck, and they see you. Help is on the way. You know, just hang out, think about how you got in this situation, and you'll be able to get out by the time they come. So just stick around. Think of it like bungee jumping. All right. So what other card do you have up there, Mystic? Oh, the Explorer.
That one makes me think of like Stranger Things.
It's like everything is available all at once. Like the world's your oyster.
I've never watched Stranger Things. I have
Me either. I played the game.
no
and
idea
VCD.
what it's about.
We need to watch
but
that for sure.
And
that
if you
one,
like 80s horror, there you go.
oh well, then I'll check it out. The Explorer, that one is again the equivalent to the Fool, and I try to make it to where the world is open. Like it's so much to see, so much to do. So what's wrong with hanging the back street? You'll never. Sorry, Smash Mouth got in my head.
Hey now,
but
you're a rock star, but you game. Okay.
but it's can you put it back up real quick?
Yeah.
Like with how I tried to have it somewhat circular, to where it sort of looks like a world slightly, with the skyscrapers in the background and showing like everything is huge. It's so much to see. And it's not just in front, but it's in back, and to remind you of where you're coming from, where you're going, and take the walk, take the risk, go out and see it. Don't be afraid, you know, don't be in the bunker all the time like myself.
I think the first thing that I noticed about this card is the way that the image right here is. It gives it almost a fisheye look, and whenever I see something from a fisheye perspective, I think just immediately opening up, and then like it's hard to imagine the nature of things in a big city skyscraper setting, and somehow that works together.
Yeah.
But the first thing I thought of was like almost like a post-apocalypse in the back of my head, just completely open. Everything is right there.
Yeah. funnily enough, people they think that with the excursion card, which is pretty much the chariot, and with that one, quite a few people said, "Is that death?" And it's like, no, it's not death. Death is death. Um, I'm trying to find it real quick,
Let's
but
see. Yeah, didn't pull that one.
yeah, I'll try and get to it. Oh, here it is. So with this one, focus, please, or not. Fine, be a wiener. Don't focus. But people see this one and they're like, "Oh my gosh, is that deaf? Is it deaf?" Because it looks a little. Oh my gosh, this will not focus.
The red lights,
There we
maybe.
go. Yeah, the red lights, the water, some of the buildings look run down, but the actual thought behind this was moving forward no matter what. I mean, who's going to stop a semi truck? And the coloring was very intentional. The red and white. I used ambulance colors on there because an ambulance isn't going to stop. If there's an emergency, they're going and they're going to get to their destination and everyone gets out the way, even if they have to move them out of the way. And that was the thinking behind this one with the coloring and everything. And showing like even though it looks bleak behind it, the old buildings, the flooding with the water, you can still go forward. So that was partially the thinking with that.
I like it.
I can see
But
that.
but as I said before, you know, this doesn't come with the booklet or anything because I want people to make it their own. If they see it as death, then hey, it's death. It wasn't necessarily my intentions, but it's your cards. It's your energy going into it. You're using it, sleeping with it, doing whatever. So see it however you want to see it. Make it your own. And that I think is just so important to make it your own and not worry about what I may or may not have intended it for it to be. And I think that's why sometimes people they get so caught up and they're not able to advance as much as they want because they get too caught up on like, oh, this specifically means this and it can't change here or there. It's like, no, go with your feelings. What do you think it means? I mean, it could be Optimus Prime for all I know, you know? Just it's whatever you want.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it follows the same, and it's refreshing to have somebody else that doesn't want either. Like so with the Oracle deck that I'm producing, there is no book. There's, I mean, I took it a step further. There's not even any. It's an image, and then you.
Yeah.
That's it, and I think that
There's.
that's. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were stopped there a second. No, there's another deck that is, I think it's called Shadow Legends, that this guy does, and they're originally designed for either Magic the Gathering or one of those, games, and it's similar in that respect of he's like, I will tell you what I think it means in the game, but use it as whatever you want, divination, and make up your own thing. It's really important to be able to do that. I mean, that kind of bridges the gap between Oracle and Tarot to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oracle cards often have the words right on them, which I'm not a huge fan of when it says like one word I'm fine with, but when it says like courage, love, expression, I'm like, okay, this isn't live, laugh, love for my wall. Just, uh give me the card and we'll
Well, I
figure it
mean,
out.
that's the thing. Like, I mean, I want to force. I mean, and I feel like Melvin. I think you're doing the same thing here to a certain degree. Is I wanted to force people into interpretive reading. Like, I didn't want to give people an out. And I feel like that's somewhat what you're doing in yours.
Slightly,
Love
yeah.
this card.
The nine of vines or flowers, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that one is more traditional, I would say. And I was thinking quite literally leaving a haze or a maze and having a light guide you, even if it comes from within. Even if you have to create your own light, if you have to get two twigs and rub them together to create something, go ahead and do it. And find your way. And also see it as there's always a way out, even when you're at your lowest point, your darkest point. There's always a light. that will guide you out if you want it. And that's the key thing, if you want it. Because a lot of times people don't want it. They like wallowing in despair. That gives them whatever. It's hard to pick yourself up and move on when you're hurting and dealing with depression, and you just don't want to. But if you don't see that light, you can create one yourself and get out of that haze or that maze and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah, so that's partially what went into that. But yeah, that one is it's more traditional with the Nine of Pentacles. Usually it's on the Nine of Pentacles, it's like a woman leaving out of a maze or a hedge maze or something, and she has a bird, I think, usually.
My first thought was unlocking the secret garden.
Ooh.
One of my weirdest things that people don't know about is I really do love like the book, The Secret Garden, and the movie, like one of the most boring books and movies that ever existed in life.
I agree
So
with that
much to the
statement.
fact that I have the entire soundtrack to it saved for like since it came out in like 1993 or whatever it was. But that is the first thing I thought.
Hey, that's
Uh,
what you think. That's what it
love
is,
it. Yeah.
Oh, I have to do something real quick because it's driving me nuts and I don't want to forget. So, Adius, you said Baraka from Street Fighter, the green guy. You got it mixed up. That's Blanca. Blanca is
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
Street
It's
Fighter, and
Mortal
he's green.
Kombat as Baraka.
Baraka's Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy with the
I'm sorry,
claws.
the inner nerd in me was going nuts.
No, it's
But
okay. That's perfectly fine. If
I'm-
I would have remembered that, I would have been the same way.
so-
Respect.
But yeah, the Secret Garden though, really.
Mm-hmm. I
That's
don't
your
know what it is, but it has something that stuck with me, and I think it's that the secretiveness of and this is obviously getting off subject, but the being in something and a part of something so large, but still not being a part of it, being lost in that big house and lost without your family, but there's still people right there, and it's just because everybody's afraid to do something that once you take the step, you've unlocked the entire world, kind of thing. It
Yeah.
just hit me at the right time in my kid life when I was having a hard time.
Yeah. Well, that's what movies are for, or at least I think so.
It's
know,
a rough movie to get through it for most people.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever finished. I think I've fallen asleep
Most
through
people
it.
do.
I remember
Yeah.
watching it. I just don't remember when.
Seventh grade for me, because that's
Yeah,
when they
probably
made us
would've-
watch it and read it.
Yeah, it probably would have been the same thing. But then again, like, I think the biggest memory I have of high school was watching Schindler's List. So that one was interesting. Anyway,
I threw a desk at a board in high school. That's pretty much my biggest memory.
damn.
Yeah, it wasn't a good day. I did not like high school life at all, but that's a story for a different time.
I don't think anyone liked school. Like,
No, there are people who do, and it drives me bonkers because I look at them like they're the crazy one. How did you enjoy this? You actually like school? Like, yeah, I love it. It was amazing. Really?
I
I
like
mean,
school.
I like
like
the
my classes.
I like the
I like my
social
teachers.
aspect of school. Like,
I hated the people.
that's what I liked. I like the social aspect of school. The classes
didn't
just
like
bored the shit out of me.
neither.
That's what I
No,
hated.
I didn't like neither. When I was young, I said right away, this is just a prison for kids. That's all this is.
Oh,
You have to listen
no.
to all these people. You get time out on the yard for 30 minutes to an hour, then back in. You have to, like, oh my God, it's a prison. They got walls up
no.
everywhere. You can't escape.
Look,
If you
I
try to
was-
leave, they drag you back.
I was lucky though, because so at 15 I got emancipated. And so the moment that I got emancipated, there was nobody that could register me for school. Because apparently you, as a 15-year-old, you can't register yourself for school, which is kind of dumb. And the state of New York is I almost dropped the R word. The state of New York is just really stupid because they emancipate you and say, yeah, you're responsible for yourself, but we're not going to give you any paperwork that proves that. So
That's a little backwards.
yeah, so I ended up getting at 16. I ended up getting my GED, and I just went into college. So by the time my graduating class graduated, I think think I was in my sophomore year of college.
Wow.
So,
I mean, I think for me, from 7th grade up, I loved school itself. Science class, especially. I was a science nerd, math, all of it. I loved it. I hated history, though. Love history as
Oh.
an adult, which is what's funny because I hated it as a kid. Now I think I love learning history, but we had a small group of friends, and that is the friends that we had, and that was the small group, but that was it. I
Yeah.
hated the actual setting and the people, but
No, I remember exactly when it just turned off for me, and it was 3rd grade. That's when I just shut down. I was like, I'm over this. And then when I saw and with math, they were adding letters with numbers, I was just doubly done. I was like, no, no, this does not mix. This should not be. What is this? Nope. And I still to this day have not used a letter and a number together. So
neither have I. Neither have I. I mean, there are situations, and
I
I'm well
have.
aware that there are situations where it's beneficial. I am not in a career where knowing that is beneficial.
I think that probably pushed me towards storytelling even more. Like, because I don't like numbers to begin with, and that's just
Yeah, no,
No.
I'm not a numbers person. No, the thing is it was difficult for me as a kid to grab onto new concepts. As a father, I'm noticing that like my son is having the same issue, and it scares the shit out of me. Like him and I had a conversation the other day. Where I was helping him with homework, and I sat down and I explained. It was like, I know what you're feeling, because I felt the same thing. I know the frustration of when somebody's telling you something that for them it seems super easy, and for some reason, your brain just doesn't grab it. And to tell my 9-year-old, look at my 9-year-old son, and be like, be better than me. Don't follow me. It's like horrible. But I do think that there are things that should be taught in schools that aren't. Axes should be taught in schools.
oh God, yes.
See, that stuff was
Like-
taught in my school, so that's.
Yeah,
I got very
no,
lucky. We had a really good system.
no, I mean, like in my school, they were still using books from the 1960s. Like, oh,
Jesus.
this isn't gonna work. I mean, like, jeez. I think I like over there talking about segregate. We need segregation. Like, wait, no, this isn't. Wait.
Wrong time period. Wrong time period.
So, now to be fair, it wasn't the history books from the 1960s. It was the math books and stuff. To be fair, but it's weird how it works though, and it's funny because everyone is different. So,
Mhm.
Adius, you like the social aspect. Mystic, you couldn't stand the social aspect,
And you just
That's
hate
where
and
everything.
that's
everything
just
trouble.
it's just amazing. That's so interesting. And well, ooh, I almost said something I should not have said. I caught myself, so I will throw that somewhere. We don't need to hear that. That's in the vault. But yeah, school, not it wasn't for me. I didn't like it. And then like sort of what you mentioned, Addie, is like I remember saying to my mom all the time, like they don't teach it right. Like I don't get it. They're not teaching
Mhm.
it right. And it turns out I'm a very visual learner to the extreme.
Mhm.
And they were more auditory. And I remember this one prick, uh, John Malberg, and I'm saying his name because he's a prick. And he went to jail too.
Oh, okay.
So I'm cool with that as well. And he took me aside because I
As
just
long as it
couldn't
wasn't for
understand
murder. Or,
something else. I won't say what, but we'll just say he's on the list. And
Okay. Gee. Oh.
yeah, and he took me aside and everything, and because I was struggling in his class, and I just was telling him, like, I don't understand, like, I can't grasp this, I don't get it. And he said, you know what? I don't really care. I'm not going to change my whole teaching style because one kid doesn't get it. That's not my problem. You figure it out.
It's good.
And
that's
Very
shitty.
and that just like I was really done. I was already done. I became super done.
Yeah.
Just, I was charcoal at that point. So that's how done I was. And but
So
yeah,
sad.
he got his.
It's so
I
sad. I
got
mean, I've seen so many things recently about teachers and how like horrible things that some teachers do to their student. And I'm like, what the fuck are you even a teacher for? Like, I personally do believe that being a teacher is like the most important jobs that a human, because it directly affects the developmental process, the next generation, the people that are going to carry society forward. And to see some of the shit that teachers do and some of the shit that they say to their students, it's just like, why are you even bothering? You're not doing it for the money because I know you get paid shit. You know, like, are you just looking for a power trip? I mean, what's the deal?
I mean, it's a good question. I think what happens is sometimes they do go in it young, full of energy, and ready to teach and help that next generation. But what happens is you get burnt out. Kids become more and more disrespectful because there are a lot of disrespectful brats. Like, let's be honest. And they they don't care. The students, they don't care because they don't see the point. And then some teachers, they don't have the backing of the school administry,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes it's like I'm on an island of my own because I know a lot of teachers, they will spend their own money for classroom supplies, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
that's also
oh,
kind of ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah. So you just get to that point where you're frustrated and you just shut down like anyone would. And unfortunately it carries over. So it's not just one simple thing, it's a lot of elements
Compounded. Yeah.
combined. So I think that's what happens. I mean, I don't know for if it's fact or not, but just in my head, that's what happens.
Uh,
Like, and I admit, I could have,
yeah.
I could be a prick at times, especially
I
when I
think we all
was
can.
younger.
Yeah.
But I also tried to keep in the back of my mind that this is someone who is trying, you know,
Yeah.
and dealing with dozens and dozens of kids every single day, hollering, yelling. Oh God, the smelly ones.
The
It's just,
smelly ones, he said.
yeah, the smelly ones, man.
So I
It's
want to point out to the chat that we have completely moved away from talking about Melvin's tarot deck, and he has not had a single freeze, glitch, or anything since we've completely moved away from talking about his tarot deck. Uh,
yeah, I'm I'm just not supposed to talk about it. Like, that's just, I'm not. So
right?
what?
Leave it a mystery.
Yeah, we have to leave it a
let's see if it
mystery.
freezes.
Oh, the Five of Pearl. You like that one, huh?
I do.
Okay, so a little truth bomb for you. That's actually one of the few that I like the least.
Really?
Yeah, I like that one the least because I feel like I could have done more with it. Like, I don't know what, but I feel like there is something missing from it, and I can't figure out what it is. And it's on the lower end of the spectrum for me.
I definitely get a five of pearls really quickly with this, especially with the broken ones down here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that
that's
was
yeah, no, this is definitely a good one for me. The hooded figure, um, just
Are they on their
I don't
knees or
know.
are they just that short?
no, they're
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 on their
they're on
knees.
their
Oh,
knees.
okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I mean, that would be funny having a little person there, I guess. But yeah, with that one though, it is almost not identical, but very much the Five of Cups.
Yeah,
And
it really is.
you know, it's just my version of it with the back turn more center to the card, and instead of facing what you don't have, it's trying to have that realization of what you do have. And it's to say, don't worry about what you can't handle, what's broken. It's in the past. That's another way of saying you can't change the past, but you still have the future to look forward to.
I know it
And
sounds weird too, the way like just the position of his knees and legs uh gives to me like that, and this is just weird stuff I think about, almost a feeling of exasperation
yeah,
to it. Like, you're hunched over and you're not just on your knees. You're not like folded hands. You're like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Fives give me that feeling. They have like a breathless feeling.
Yeah, I
You,
get you.
you didn't freeze
And
up. That was the test. So
Yeah, hey, I mean, maybe it's just finally got a stable connection, or they
Yeah.
the spirits just said, you know what, screw it, you're talk about it.
right.
And
So,
so for those who don't know, pearls are sort of my version of cups, but again, they could be whatever you want them to be. But I will say this: every single pearl has some form of water in it. Like some of the other cards, they don't have that, but every pearl has water, whether it be a puddle, rain. It's some form of water there.
okay, that makes sense.
So
I would, for me, like my brain would connect a pearl with like a pentacle.
See, I went
yeah,
straight to water with the oyster and the emotional time that it takes to
Yeah, I
create
can see
something.
that. Me because of this, the circular nature of it.
The
yeah.
vines and the flowers take me to the earth.
Yeah. So I was looking at it more so like elements than for the
Physical
pearls and
features.
the flower vines, flowers, whatever you want to call. I still don't have an official name for any of this. I just call them whatever. So I know Rook said he likes blades for the sword, so I think we'll make that official. Those are blades. So
There you
don't
We
go.
say
take
swords, Mystic.
the five of irritations, because you know pearls are irritated lining of an oyster shell. I don't know.
The 5 of
It's another one and this is I love this card anyway, but I just love the
Okay.
way the art is made.
Yeah.
Like the whole design of it is. I mean, this is probably
So
one of the most recognizable cards too in the tarot for most people. Like it's. I just
so
really like.
that one is actually one of my favorite, and I knew from the start what I wanted to do. So the three of blades, there you go, Rook. With that, it's a couple of things happening. Number one, you can see stitching on the heart, and that is
Mhm.
to show that things heal over time. And there's also a knife still stabbed in it, and it's showing like yes, there is heartache, but over time it heals. Uh-oh, did we freeze? Did I freeze? No, you're moving. Okay. Over time, it heals, and the person busting through is to show that you can move on. Like she's walking away, moving on from it, and a lot of it has to do with the mind as well. Because remember, when we look at swords or blades or whatever, they are usually connected to the air element.
Air.
I connect that to the mind and the imagination and all of that. So healing takes place in the mind first and it goes elsewhere and you can move on. Don't be stuck and think, oh, it's always going to hurt and this and that. No, it heals over time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, this is in the pack that I pulled. Just that I like. I love all the major arcanas. Those are good.
Yeah, and my thinking with the majors was could these possibly also be used like oracles as well?
Yeah. You know, there's one style of reading that I used to do, and I probably can want to go back to it a little bit, where um, you pull three cards from you separate your major and minor arcana. You pull three cards from the major, and that becomes your main situations. And then
Mhm.
you pull three for each of the minor cards in each one of those sections and read them out that way.
Oh,
This would be very good for that kind of a read.
gonna have to try that. So, of course, this one is very easily deaf,
Yeah.
but it's not just deaf. So, this was actually inspired by uh, Papa Gide. So, if you know Voodoo, you'll know who he is. And that's why there are actually skulls there. And around the scythe itself is a purple flame, which is somewhat representative of Baron Samedi. And that's why he's walking through a cemetery, a graveyard. And, and I tried to make him a little bit a little bit joyful. Like, oh,
He
yeah.
looks like he's happy about what he just did.
Yeah. So if you know Voodoo, Baron Samedi, or rather the Gide family in general, you'll understand that. But that one is actually, yeah, it's a traditional death look with the scythe and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but it is inspired by Papa Gide, Baron Samedi. and that's why I have a little bit of purple flame in there, and that's why the skulls are actually there.
That the thing that struck me on this one, definitely death, but the blood on the fresh blood on a skull is not something you normally see.
No.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was an artistic design. Like nothing really symbolistic behind it for me anyway. I just wanted something a little different. And, if someone sees something there, that's awesome.
It worked.
It works.
Yeah, I have respect for people that can do traditional sticking yourself. Me, like, I know the tarot meanings, generally speaking. I just can't follow that. I feel like it's too rigid. Like following the meaning, and it would always piss me off. Like when I was doing online readings, because I always read what I would see instead of what the card meant, and I'd be
Well, you
reading
learn
it
to
from
mix
people.
them though.
Yeah,
You mix it together.
and then there would be people that are like, "Oh, well, that's not what that card means." But dude, read it your fucking self. Like,
Yeah, that would piss me off. To
don't
me,
ask me to fucking read it.
even if you go to a quote unquote traditional tarot reader, they're gonna take things differently. Like there's people who the three of hearts is representative of their surgery. Like they think, okay, that means there's a surgery coming. There are people who only read with the major arcana. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many different read styles, and if somebody ever said, oh, that's not what it means, and that's exactly what I would say. I was like, oh, okay, well then maybe you can go read yourself and goodbye things.
Yep.
Because to me, the way I read, it's all about my attempt at connecting to the universe and to whatever energy keeps us all connected. Whether that's real or not, I don't know, but that's how it feels to me.
And then that
And
makes it real.
the traditional meanings got me started, but I can tell you, there's a lot of people that will tell me that's not what that means. I hear that a lot. But the taught meanings also do show up because they're in my head somewhere. I can't tell you like pull every card and say exactly what each one means. But when I read people, if you know the traditional tarot, you'll hear it because that's what I learned on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I kind of abandoned traditional tarot. It's funny though. So, with the deck that I'm producing, the Oracle deck, it is very specifically an Oracle deck. It is not a tarot deck. Stand by that. It's highly inspired by the major arcana of traditional tarot. I just kind of decided to create kind of like a sense of duality between them. And if you guys are wondering why I'm talking about this, it's because it's almost completely done. It's almost completely done. So yeah, I try to create kind of a sense of duality between, like the major arcana, kind of like a positive and negative for each one, like a light and shadow kind of thing. So see what happens with that. But again, that kind of goes back to talking about your deck, Alvin. I really appreciate the fact that you didn't create a book and you're so adamant about like, I noticed that like talking about the meaning. It's like you'll talk about the artwork, but you don't talk about necessarily the meaning of the card really to yourself. Like, kind of leave that open to interpretation. Except for the last one, like the last one where the person walking away from shit and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that one it's pretty specific there, but for the most part, and even then, if someone sees that because you could even say that the woman paused and maybe she wants to turn around and come back and try again because again we do have a healing heart. So I might say like, yeah, you're walking away, you're healing up, but someone might see it as like, no, you're pausing and you're coming back because the heart is healing and you're going to give it another go or something. It is still, it depends.
Yeah, definitely.
The thing I like is there's inspiration in the way you created them. That's you were inspired to do the card and make the imagery, and then that in turn, that collection of information and choices and words on the card is what inspires other people to read it, and they have to be inspired to read it or it doesn't work. Like I have a lot of decks that you can't read or that I can't read from because I just don't connect to the imagery. I don't connect to the card, and it just looks like, okay, a good one, Jungian Tarot. I've read a lot about Jung. I've read his books. I've read a lot. I know quite a bit. I listen to podcasts of people who do Jungian psychology. That deck does nothing for me. It's like this is a Rorschach test and I failed. Um, so that's one of the things that's nice is when a deck can actually inspire you just based off of, knowing that it was put together meaningfully. Because I think some people just throw it together and like, hey, here's a deck. I want to, give me some money and
Yeah,
and that's
I'm
that.
very particular about the decks that I purchase. And so
I am not.
the complete opposite of Mystic. Mystic just buys everything,
But
right?
I only use
Every
3 decks. That's the funny thing. Well, 4 now. The other 400 I don't touch. Like I might pull
Uh-huh.
them out for a specific reason. Like they're collecting. That's
collecting
like my
dust.
triple X decks. They're great. Oh no, I'll pull them out and use them, but I won't. Interestingly, like I'll pull it out for a random reason. Okay, clip that.
Right, there you go.
There'll be like I'll be talking to somebody. And I'm like, okay, that's the deck I need. I got to go get that deck.
Mhm.
And I'm this is how it kind of works. And
Yeah.
I have a bunch of new decks I got to get through.
Yeah, with me, I'm very particular. Like, I will see a deck and be like, okay, that's interesting. I'll put it like in my Amazon cart or whatever cart, wherever it is I am, and then I'll revisit it again in like a week. And if I look at it again and I don't have that same sensation, like I want to get my hands on that, I just remove it. Which is why I only have maybe 4 or 5 decks. It's not for lack of being able to buy them. It's just, I need to feel some type of pull. Like, I definitely am one of those people that believe that the deck chooses you, you don't choose the deck.
Yeah.
I'm similar, slightly different because I won't let it sit for a week or so, but I am picky with what I get. Everything I have, I use. Like that's one of my rules. Like I don't really want to collect. I don't have the space for it, but
Mhm.
and I don't want to spend all that money. I would go bonkers. But saying that, like every deck I have, I use, but they're all a very peculiar type of deck, and it also fits my personality. I noticed that I like colors a lot, and I like fantasy a lot. I
Mhm.
don't really care for things that are overly realistic, but I do like vibrant colors. I noticed, and I like. Here we go. We'll show you this one, the Lost Hollow here. I
I
love the
love that one.
graphic art, or yeah, it's like a graphic novel with this one, and I
That's very
absolutely,
cool. I like that.
yeah,
But I couldn't read it.
love it.
Like, I'm just looking at it's beautiful artwork. I couldn't read it just by looking at it. Like, I can appreciate the artwork. I think it looks great, but I wouldn't be able to read it. The only deck that I've purchased that I forced myself to try to read, and I didn't buy it because I thought that I was being pulled to it, is just because I liked the franchise, is the Diablo deck.
Diablo.
Yep. Like,
It's gorgeous though.
yeah, it is. It's absolutely beautiful. I bought it purely because I love the franchise for no other reason.
I can barely hold the cards, so I
Same,
can't read
dude,
with it.
I've got big hands and I can barely do it. Like, I mean, I have a hard time fucking shuffling things. You know,
Think tarot.
Big fan of a monkey's uncle.
Tarot to me fills some sort of need for my collection. I like it's a Virgo thing. I think I like things that are very similar but different. And I like to see them in rows. I like to be able to have choices. But when it comes down to it, I only use 4 decks. I use this steampunk deck that I've had on me for like 5 years, and I've on my like 5th copy of it because the dog eats it every year or so. The Abyss, the Runic Tarot, and then this is probably going in the rotation now too. But the rest of the decks, it's like decoration for me. But what's interesting is every once in a while I'll have a deck and there are decks I won't buy. Like there are decks that I don't feel good about that I won't get. Most of them are like series. Like if I get a deck from James Eads, I then buy all of his decks. because I like to know his thought process, and that's different for each one. So he's coming out with a numerology deck, the Cerulean sequence that I bought. Had to get that. Like, I'm never going to read with it, but that's part of his series, and I'm obsessive with having those things that are, see, they're all similar but a little bit different.
Right.
They are easy to read with, but I will have a deck that I got, and I'm like, why did I get this? It's terrible. Like oh shit, I forgot what it's called, but it's a deck based off of like Donnie Darko style rabbits.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'll never read from this. And then so it sat for a year and a half, and then I pulled it back. I was like, holy shit, I love this deck. And I started, using it. And it's just weird.
Yeah, the only two that I read from out of the 5 or 6 decks that I have, there's only 2 that I consistently read from to the point to where the cards are almost falling apart. The original one was the Fairy's Oracle.
Is that Brian Shroud?
Yeah, that one. I've had that one.
Shroud.
Not this particular deck itself, but I've had that one since I was like a teenager. My father ended up burning it. I had to find it again. And then when I got my hands on the Dark Mirror, like, I honestly, like, that's like my go-to deck. I don't want, it's not that I can't, I don't want to use another deck. Like, the Dark Mirror for me is like the pinnacle of shadow reading. And I absolutely adore that deck. And so I'm very particular when it comes to, decks that I purchase, which is why I think making my own deck has been so fucking difficult. I have gone through 5 different design cycles with this fucking, because I don't want to produce something that I wouldn't buy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that's something that, and it might sound selfish, it's not meant to be, but you have to create for you first.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is second, because you, as someone who is an artist, you're going to be your worst critic. And you're going to notice all the imperfections and everything, and then you start thinking about other people seeing them, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this could, so yeah, you have to make it for you first. Everything else, it comes secondary, or at least that's my opinion. And I know it sounds kind of selfish, but
It's how it should
like,
be.
yeah, I mean, like, how many, if you try to design for the masses, which I'm not saying you can't do, is your soul in it?
Yeah, no, I mean,
you-
I completely agree. Like, the first round of designs that I did for the deck, I finished it. It's done. Every card is there. But then I took a step back, took a couple of days from it, went back and looked at it, and I'm like, this looks like absolute fucking dog shit. Like, how could have I ever thought that this would have been okay to fucking print and sell or give to people? And then it went through 4 other iterations. I'm on the 6th iteration right now, and I'm finally to the point where, like, all right, I'm happy with the direction that it's going in.
I mean, that's important. You have to be able to get to that point.
So,
and it's good that you're able to do that, though, because sometimes people, they just don't care. And the fact that you're like, all right, let's stop and redo this, that says a lot about you. That's huge, in my opinion.
it's irritating, though. It's irritating.
I
as fuck.
understand. I get the frustration. I very much get the frustration.
Oh, dude, you're sitting on my.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't, like, what I love about your deck is you produce something, like, I'm jealous because you produce something that, in a way that, one, it's based off of traditional tarot, but you did it in a way that really nobody else has done it before. And how long did you take producing the thing? Would you say like 2 years or something?
No, oh no, not 2 years. Uh, it was Sweet Pea passed away in October. I started in November.
Oh, they're
And
double jealous now. Like,
well,
a
no,
few
don't be,
months.
because no, trust me, it was not fun. Like, because it was times I was up just days and days, just staring at a screen, trying to work on stuff, trying to figure out if I like it, if I don't, erasing doing this and literally just shutting everything else out. My social life is already next to nothing, and it dropped it to minus nothing. So I know that's not possible, but that's what happened. I was at minus zero. So
I completely understand it, man. I completely understand it. With the amount of shit that I have on my plate, I am spread so fucking thin. Hanging out is not an option.
yeah, and I remember one time I was up about 3 days straight just working on a single card and just trying to get it right. And the worst part is, oh, I might still have the original, and I'll show it to you if I have it. Let me see. The worst part is I decided not to use it and started over on something else. It's like, I don't like it. It was it was two of them. It was the Conjurer and uh the Enchanted Lady, or the Empress, whatever you want to call it. So let's see if I can find it real quick. You guys make conversations while I search for this. Give me 1 second. It shouldn't be too long.
I was going to respond to a previous comment. Yes, multiple decks are great, and all sizes count, including this size.
Micro deck.
Yes, micro decks are important.
That's
Yeah, yes, that is true. They are most.
I even have a different steampunk tarot that was manufactured improperly, and I can't let go of it. Ooh, I like that.
All right, sent it to you.
Yeah,
All right.
I see.
So I don't know if you have it on screen or if you're going to put it up or not, but the
I don't
Conjurer
have it
there.
set up to do that, so.
Oh, bummer. Well, you guys are just going to have to hear and not see. But the Conjurer is basically, he was supposed to be an alien. Like, if you look at his hands, those were intentional, like, four fingers.
Yeah.
And his face is all kind of weird and everything, almost like he has a mask on, but a fleshy human mask. And the Empress, or the Enchanted Lady, whatever you want to call her, she was a bit more sassy, and she was more influenced by Jessica Rabbit at the time.
Wait, Jessica Rabbit? No, that's not the
Yeah,
one
you
from
mentioned
Roger
that.
Rabbit, is it?
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't like
I
her
can see
face.
that.
I couldn't mold it correctly. Love her body, but just did not like her face, and I couldn't mold it right. I didn't like
It's a little Paris
the
Hilton-y.
the city aspect, and it's
Yeah,
like,
it
no,
definitely has that vibe.
this isn't right. And eventually, figured it out. Where the heck is she in the final version here? Trying to go through it real quick and find her, but of course she doesn't want to pop up. Where are
There is a direction of conversation I could take that, but I'm just going to choose not to.
that shows your maturity.
It does.
Okay, so all right, let's see. So here is the Conjurer now, if this thing would like to focus.
Yeah, I love that card too. I don't know why I didn't pick that out when I went through them, but that's a good one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good one.
So with Helm, it's sort of, I tried to create it like, because you see he has 4 arms and everything, but I tried to create it like it's an illusion. Like, does he really have 4 arms, or is it two? Kind of like a stage magician, doing
Right.
illusions,
Conjuring.
and really trying to get you to think about it. Like, maybe all isn't what it seems to be, or whatnot.
Right.
And the Enchanting Lady here, a bit more toned down, still sexy. She has her curves and everything, but toned down in a way.
A little more
and-
lady.
Yeah, but I definitely see more of the Jessica Rabbit reference in the original.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
with the hair,
Mm-hmm.
right? But yeah, I see what you did there.
So these were annoying, but these weren't the hardest ones to do. The hardest ones for me were all of the canes, except for the first cane, like the Ace of Canes or the first cane, whatever you want to call it. That one was easy. At first, I was gonna make it a pimp cane, but I
Yeah,
decided like I'll just make it a bit more decorative than
Right.
anything.
that
But
still would have been hilarious.
yeah, I was
It
I
would have
was very
worked.
close to it.
It would have worked.
But I changed my mind. I said, nah, let's make it a little bit more decorative, and I put the fire by it to like sort of like what Rook said on Sunday to sort of have a spark going and show like this is the start of something,
Hmm.
or someone could say like, oh my gosh, it's a fire. Let me pee on it to put it out. It might be a drunkard or some mess. But
When we're done here with the show, I'll give you guys a sneak peek that I have, and then I'll send you guys. Give me your. But I mean, I'm glad you put it out, Melvin. I'm glad you did. I mean, it was. I'm gonna be honest. As somebody that's been working on my deck for 2 fucking years, it's me that's been working, not you. Uh, it's inspiring. It's inspiring that see somebody else in his kind of taken that level of creativity, something out there, and I mean, how's it doing? How's it being received? Like, I mean, is it getting like, is it
uh,
being moved? Is it being purchased? Like, how's it doing?
well, I need to figure out how to advertise more, but I do have a goal in mind, and so far it sold more than I initially thought it would. It hasn't reached the goal yet. So it is moving little by little, which I'm cool with. And some of the people that I spoke to who purchased, they actually said they really like it. They find it extremely practical and usable, and they really like the art. So it's been positive for the most part. And, I'm happy to hear that. Of course, everyone likes hearing that. But
Hmm.
then, when I look at it, I see things that needs to be fixed or changed because it's just like, oh, why didn't I catch this earlier? But if the people who actually spend their money on it love it, enjoy it, and they find it to be to their standards, then
Hmm.
hey, I'm happy. You know.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. No, I mean, I will definitely, once able, will pick up a copy of the.
Well, I appreciate that. You don't have to though.
It's
Like
not
I,
because
I want,
I don't have to do anything. I do it because I want to.
yeah, but and this is where my little weirdness comes in. But I tell everyone this, and I even said this with So Strange Times, because it might not be for everyone. They might not like the art or something, but check out the flip through that I have on unexplained possibilities and make sure it actually is something that you want because I don't want you spending your money on something that's just going to take up space and you're not going to really look at it or anything like that because it takes away from you and it's like you might regret it later like, oh, I could have bought a burrito with this money or
What the
something.
fuck?
Like I just I
That is
understand.
not good advertising,
I
Melvin.
know it's not, but it's being honest, and I want people to be sure. Like I care about the purchase of people's money. I really do. So I know it's not good advertisement, but
Look, I've
that's
seen it.
how
I've
that's
seen
how
it
I am.
enough times where I do want to pick up a copy of it.
Okay.
I can't promise I'll be able to read with it, but it's definitely something I'm going to try to do. But it is something I do like the artwork. Something, and as someone that is very particular about what I buy when it comes to tarot, that's making a statement. Because if I didn't like the way that it looked, I would.
Well, that's a huge compliment to me. So I thank you. Like seriously, thank you. I really appreciate that.
No, and I mean
Yeah.
it. Like, I mean, if I didn't think that it was something that I would like to have in my collection, I would buy it. So, Not because I know you. It's not because we're friends. It's because I believe there's something valid there. Try to work.
All right, well, purchase away, darn it.
So.
I give you the green light to spend your money. Kind of messes that. How's that work?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, I know that tarot, like many things, is a very subjective experience. And just because I find that there's something that I want to try to work with in this deck, I know that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone else is going to find that. But I would like to point out, though, it's like I don't buy just anything. Like, I don't. That there are artists that have created other decks from decks that I have. And regardless of it being the same artist, I won't buy them because I don't click with them. Like, there's not something in there to try to pull out and work. So yeah, that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that for me, there's something that I think is worth, trying to work with back. So, and everyone in the chat, if you feel the same way, if you've seen the deck a couple of times here on the show, if you find something that you connect with, if you find something that you want to try to expand with the art that Melvin's created for this deck, then, by all means, follow the links that have been spammed in the chat and, buy a copy of the deck. I think it's an amazing thing so I think self-publishing is absolutely glorious. I think that it's an amazing thing that we no longer need to worry about being picked up by a major publisher to produce something, that we can produce at mass, these pieces of artwork and put something in society, put something into the community, something different, something that people haven't experienced yet. That should be celebrated and supported. So,
is it okay if I put the link in chat?
Yeah, spam the shit out of it, man.
All right. I just want to make sure, So, I won't spam. I'll just put one. Everyone else can spam, though. But that's where you can go if you would like to purchase. And if you would like to see the flip through, I'll get that link in for you real quick.
TikTok tarot readings is popular. Yeah, it's the TikTok spiritual thing irritates me. I hate pulling up a video and it goes, if you found this video, it's not by chance. It's like, no, it's not. It's called an algorithm, dipshit.
I'm not a fan of TikTok. It makes me uncomfortable just by nature of being TikTok.
So
I don't do the TikTok thing, but I do have a friend who does, and she's very kind. She's going to show off the deck on there for me, so it's very nice of her.
I use TikTok because a lot of the side jobs that I get, being somebody that does social media for bands and record labels, like, you need to be considered the most relevant social media platforms, and so TikTok is currently the largest social media platform. So yeah, I kind of have to and tell people how to do their shit. And it's funny because people look at my shit and they're like, well, why don't you have more followers? Like, oh, dude, you know how much time I spend telling other people what the fuck they need to do? You think I have time to tell myself? Like, I mean, no, I don't. I spend 5 hours a day telling other people what the fuck they need to do. Like, I mean,
I'm over it. Just want to go home, kick my feet up, drink some lemonade, or, well, no, you're wine, right? You don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really much of anything as far as alcohol is concerned right now.
Okay.
I was actually drinking an iced coffee.
All right, I've never had one of those. No idea what it tastes like.
It's a hazelnut iced coffee, so.
Well, that doesn't help me any.
Yeah, I'm not really big in making myself feel like, even like Like I think that's one of the reasons why I hate these fucking painkillers. I don't like the sensation of being high anymore, shape or form.
Okay. Oh, first, I've never had coffee before, so I don't know what it tastes like.
So I like coffee. I just generally don't drink it after 3 p.m., 2 p.m. But I'm doing it now because I got a 3-day weekend. So
Okay.
right. So
Yeah,
if
hey.
my sleep schedule gets fucked up tonight, it doesn't matter.
I mean, nothing wrong with that, man.
Right?
Party. Like
So
you better believe I have some sparkling lemonade in there that I'm gonna crack open.
that actually sounds really fun now.
Oh man, I'm like today is cheat day, so I will be eating some chili cheese fries and having some sparkling lemonade.
Dude, I miss that, dude. There is a place in upstate New York that I used to. I can't remember the fucking name of it. It's a little diner. They did chili cheese fries, man. Oh my god, I love that shit so much. Or no, the
Yeah.
gravy fries with cheddar on top. Oh, dude.
So I
Yeah.
can't wait. And yes, sad world, I did say that I've never had coffee. I don't know what it tastes like. Don't know how to make it. Just I don't know.
I believe that there are certain chemicals that assist the body in certain, or the brain rather, in certain activities. Like so, nicotine and caffeine have been proven time and time again to increase focus. And I suppose that's true because if I don't have my vape, I can't focus on shit. Um, Coffee, I'm not a big coffee drinker. I drink like one coffee a day. Right. So like, I'm not really used to be big. I used to drink coffee all day. Now it's just like one a day.
Yeah.
Um,
My thing is lemonade. But I don't drink it like I used to. It's like every now and then, maybe a bottle, like once or twice a week. That's about it.
mhm.
And but yeah, so the coffee, I don't know. It's just I just look
Hey
at it
man, all
like,
the
what am I
power to
gonna do
you.
with?
All the power to you, man. If it's not your thing, it's
Yeah,
not your thing. Like, I mean,
yeah,
it's probably better not to put anything in your body that shouldn't be there. But I mean, it's almost fucking impossible. Like the amount of shit. Like I saw reading this thing the other day about the amount of shit that we like Americans put in their food that is banned in like 30 other countries. You know, like
it's insane. Like all those preservatives and stuff, everyone's like, why can't I lose weight? Well, look at what you're eating. You're not supposed to. you know, like
exactly.
and I mean, I hate saying that, but that's why it's so freaking hard. And you could go to another country, eat anything you want, you won't gain a pound. You'll lose weight. You'll be like, wait, I came here 5 pounds heavier than I'm leaving. How did that happen? Well, you either took a very good dump or, the food is different.
No, I mean, I literally lost 5 pounds this last week and a half, by eating just mush that I had to prepare myself. Because I obviously like sugar, I completely cut it out. Coffee, dairy, all of that stuff, I just completely cut it out because all of that could potentially cause an infection. I haven't mouth, so I had to be very careful about what it was that I was consuming. And I lost. Grant you, losing 5 pounds in a week isn't necessarily healthy in and of itself. By the way, like let's just make that very clear. Uh, so
Yeah, but I mean, hey, if it's gone, it's gone. So what can
right.
you do about it?
So
Just say, all right, well,
no,
yeah,
and
but
the thing is like yesterday when I found out that I could eat, I ate a slice of pizza. I was like, this is disgusting.
ooh,
I was like, I legitimately, I was like, I can't finish this. This is disgusting. Like, I
huh.
can't eat this. Like, what the fuck is this? This is absolutely horrid.
Now that's interesting. What
So,
happened there? Maybe those alien genes kicked in.
damn right, man. What would you call them? The Orion Greys?
Orion
Like
Greys.
the European gray
Yeah,
wolf.
something like that. Yeah, the Orion Grey. They're the ones who are supposed to visit us the most in the state, or the Americas rather. Them and reptilians. So, but everyone
Aliens.
else, they get the humanoid looking one, the hot ones, the elf-like people.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
we get gypped. Um, actually, real quick, I got to tell you this. So, um, good buddy of mine, he's passed away unfortunately, but he's had a lot of dealings with Grays, and there's something that's just it's one of those things where it's like I believe you because I know you, but it's just so freaking radical. It's like, whoa. But and I have the picture. I gotta find these freaking pictures. But he said one day he was taken up into the ship. He was speaking to this elder Orion Gray named Giovanna, and she intentionally chose that name because it has connection to his grandfather, who was named Giovanni. And they said, okay, we're going to do two things for you. First, we're going to change your voice so it could be more appealing. And they said that they wanted to do that because he was on a radio show at the time, and it will reach more audiences. People will pay more attention to you, and it's just going to be done. The second is we're going to put an implant in you, and this is going to help your body, it's your immune system, and all of that. So they do it, however many days, weeks pass, and this implant that's in his knee or like right under it shoots out. And he took pictures of it. He showed it. I have them. I have to find those freaking pictures because I will show them to you. And you just see blood just oozing out of his freaking knee and this little metal thing right there. And I'm just like, what is that? Like, no. And the next day, his knee miraculously healed. Like, nothing was there. No scar, nothing. Just clear as could be. As for his voice, I don't know what he sounded like before, but I was speaking to his wife and his sister. They both confirmed that his voice changed. It it was something, he sounded completely different than what he did later on.
It's like his balls miraculously dropped.
Sure, we'll go with that. But it was just, it's crazy. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? And it's like, no, not kidding you. Like, this is legit. His sister confirmed it, his wife confirmed it, and his wife, she's not gonna lie about mess like that. Not to not that redhead. She's crazy. But she's not gonna fib. And I just thought that was so interesting that they have I mean, I guess why wouldn't they have the capability of changing your voice if they can travel light years in however many minutes or hours? So
Yeah, I mean, I remember you when we had you on, like before the tarot deck out, like we had you on about that. What was it? Like it was a congressional hearing, I think it was, where they were talking about like some of the released documentation about military UFO sightings. And
yeah.
like I remember when that thing was live, I was like, why are not more people watching this fucking thing? Like, why is this just being looked over? Like, some of the stuff that was said in that congressional hearing, like, almost completely proves all of the, like, quote-unquote conspiracy theories that have been being thrown around for, like, the last 60, 70 years, you know? And I'm like, why are we just ignoring this? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, it's one of those things. It's just, I don't know. I can't answer it. What was going on at the time? Actually, it might have been not too much happening at the time.
Yeah, there wasn't. It just didn't get as much press as like other shit. Like people just overlooked it. It's like,
yeah, it could also be one of those seeing is believing type of things. Like wait till a mothership goes over the White House or something, then be like,
then it's too fucking late.
But I also say that, you know, if they wanted to get rid of us, they would get rid of us. You know, like don't wait until something evolves or advances enough to where they can become a threat. Just erase them, be done with it. Which some people have said that we are actually in a petri dish and this world has been destroyed or erased, had other advanced civilizations before us multiple times. So who knows? Maybe we can get erased.
I mean, I have no doubt that we can be erased, but I think if that ends up happening, it's going to be by our own hand. We're going to end up killing ourselves. Honestly,
It's possible. I don't know if you heard of this, but recently this is starting to get big. But in Europe, a company created a type of sky vacuum, and it's able to suck up the pollution. And what they do, and this is what knocked me out here, what they do is they get it and they're able to push it into the earth where it will be purified, but it also helps in the discovery of fossil fuels. So we're
yeah, kind
it's
of
like,
creates that vicious circle to kind of just keep going,
yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's like, wait a second, what do you really want to do here? Do you actually want to clean things up, or are you just looking for some oil?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I mean, we could definitely keep this going. I could feel it, but we're almost 2 hours in here. And Mystic looks like he's about ready to just pass out at the desk.
I hit that at about 9 o'clock. That's my bedtime.
That's your bedtime.
Terrible. Not by
well,
choice.
Well, I mean, don't bounce out too quick, because I do want to share the cards with you guys and get your quick opinions on them. But anyway, so the quick announcements, guys. Kind of already mentioned. The Oracle deck's almost finished. The book, depending on the feedback that I get from Mystic and Melvin, will dictate whether or not it finally gets released before the actual publishing date. So those are two very big things right there. This book was never meant to be like a 200-page like breakdown of everything. It was supposed to be, this is my experience, this is what I've gone through, this is what everyone needs to know. That's it, right? Unfortunately, the publisher that wanted to publish it for me wanted more. And after having an in-depth conversation with Mel, I've kind of decided to say, fuck you, I'm just going to go produce it myself. Because I'm not going to put a bunch of shit in here or expand on things that don't be expanded on. So there's that aspect of it. Also, Witch Skills, which is essentially online Hogwarts. Mystic has confirmed that he is going to be teaching tarot. So he's going to be setting with his tarot course through Witch Skills. He's also going to assist us with the general occult studies. So he's confirmed his involvement. Also, the lovely Dragon Dancer is going to be teaching the herbal magic course. So she is a certified herbalist, and she will be going through that course with you guys. Herbal magic, I will be doing the Satanism, and Black Witch Diary will be doing demonology. So around October, we should be doing a hard launch of Witch Skills. So it's a big thing. It's not a little thing. It is a full-fledged online university for the occult arts, broken down to semesters. Each course runs a year and has a diploma at the end of it. So we are currently working to become an accredited educational institution. Not going to lie, we've already been laughed at twice by a couple of the accreditors in the United States, but there's more than 50 educational accreditation organizations in the States. So somebody is bound to give us an accreditation. But we are working on that and getting our .edu. Big things happening in that front. Mystic, this is the last Sunday of the month. You have your show this Sunday, yeah?
First and third.
First and third. I keep forgetting that, man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's just first and third. That's okay. We had skipped a couple, so we may do one. We don't know yet. We have a lot going on this weekend at the house. We're getting our internet changed over and some stuff done with the solar and all kinds of craziness going on. So,
Okay.
And I fly back out Monday morning, unfortunately, during the holiday.
sorry to hear that.
For work.
And also, guys, if you're not following Melvin, which is Unexplained Possibilities, go show some love to his channel. Melvin produces some amazing content, has some amazing guests on regularly for tarot and just talking about the weird, strange, and explained shit that happens in the so definitely one of my favorite channels to kind of go through and just kind of lose a couple hours of my life.
Can I add on to that real
Mhm.
quick? Because I do have some upcoming stuff.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So Tuesday at 5 p.m. PST, I'm actually going to be on From the Cauldron Witches channel on her podcast, A Little Brew and a Lot of Tea. So be sure if you guys are free, tune into that. And Thursday, I think I could say this now, I'm going to be live on Unexplained Possibilities for a podcast at noon. And the reason for that is because I am going to have the Divination Witch on. So be sure to check that out. And she will be the third, well, technically the fourth British guest this month. So, or no. She's the second one. I've had 4 Brits in a row. There we go. So she's the fourth. But be
Yeah.
sure to tune in to that Thursday at 12 noon PST.
Excellent. Rock on. I'll definitely check them out. I would like to get Divination Witch on as well. I haven't brought it up. Only there was a lot of drama surrounding how we met. So like I was like, let the drama calm down first. So, but yeah, I definitely looking forward to that, and we'll definitely tune in. It's definitely as well, guys. I'm high still. My words don't come out correctly. I apologize. Painkiller, fucker night. Anyway, that being said, thank you all for being here. Greatly appreciate it. Love your fucking faces. I missed every single fucking one of you. And as fucking always, hail thy fucking self. We'll see you in the fucking next one. Peace the fuck out.
Who's